So there are still buyers out there who think they can get a home for pennies on the dollar. And one of the things that I do to show them that that can't happen without actually having to tell them personally that they're wrong, because I don't want to be the bad guy, is I bring this report with me. So remember the 11 homes that we were showing, or 10. This is how crazy our market is. There's already another listing on the market in the Lambert School District. What I do is I'll go in and I'll look at the results of what I'm showing them. And I see that we're going to Glen Cree and Brookwood and Riverbrook, Keystone and Shake Rag Farms. So I wouldn't do a report for every single one of them, but I would do it for several. And in this case, I'd definitely do Brookwood, Riverbrook, and I'd probably pick Glen Cree. They're going to have a fair amount of data so that the buyer can actually see what's happened in the last 6 months, what sold, and what was the list price, what was the sales price, and what was the percentage that it sold for, so that they can see that no, homes are not selling for 50 cents on the dollar anymore. So like I said, I'm going to demonstrate this on Brookwood. So how I do this is I go back into the criteria and I keep the basic criteria that we already have there, and I change it from active to closed. And then I put in the subdivision, Brookwood, and then I scroll to the bottom and I say I want those that have closed in the last 6 months. So I'm just going to go from the beginning of the year. That's close enough. So there are 8 that match, and we look at the results, and it shows a good range. So from 214 to 249. That'll give them a good idea of what's going on. So at this point, I can click here to select all of them. Or if for some reason I know something about one of them, like it was just a crazy divorce situation where they sold the house for way under value, and I don't want to confuse my buyer. So I'm going to go in and I can uncheck one of those. So from there you go into Tools, Export Data, just the selected records. That's what it shows. You could also say all records if you changed your mind, but we're going to say just the selected records. You change the export format to tab delimited. You come down to the results grid and select subdivision sold data. Now this is actually a grid that I've created, so you'll either have one already in your FMLS. If not, I can go ahead and make one for you. You click include column headers and click OK. So what it's doing right now is it is downloading that data. So click OK that it's downloaded. From here, we're going to open up your downloads folder. So you go to your start button, you go to your documents, and from here you find downloads. There it is right there. Here's the document that we just downloaded. Double click on it. It opens up in Notepad. Bring your cursor underneath the end of the data. Left click and hold it and drag it all the way to the top. From here, click Edit and Copy. Now what I want you to do is open up Excel. And from here you click in cell A1 and you right click, it brings up your menu, and go to Paste. See what it did? See what I did? Let's try that again. Paste. And then click outside of it. Now what you can do from here is go between on the A, B, C, D, E on this menu bar. You can go through and you can widen these fields if you need to. And what I'm doing here is I can go between the fields, like between H and I. As I put my cursor between H and I, it changes it to a different symbol. And once it changes, I just double click and it will automatically put it to the width that we want. So this looks good. I can even come in here and I can make these bold by highlighting that, and then let's see, page layout. No, it's home, and click on the bold. So it made that bold so that you can tell that those are the column headers. So what you do now, this is for Brookwood. So you just print this out, and in your stack of buyer's reports that you give to the buyer, put this report right before the first Brookwood listing. So as you're driving from one neighborhood to the next, as you're headed over to Brookwood, you say, oh, by the way, there's a report I put in there, shows what's been happening in Brookwood in the past 6 months. This will really help so that your buyer is aware of what's happening and not listening to the water cooler talk that is just so off base most of the time.